Thank you so much, my friends. This is Rockin' Dave from North Fort Myers, Southwest Florida. I apologize for not being able to give out any more notices. R2R3 Locking Nut, Dry Heat 480. Let's see who else is tuning in. I'm so sorry for not giving out any notices. What's happening, my friend? Just seeing about playing. Yeah, I figured I'd do this. We didn't do any shows last night. You know, it is hurricane season down here, and we've been monitoring, you know, where the storms have, and, you know, thank God they've been going up north, but we are concerned about people up in the East Coast. A good friend, Mr. Joe Wentz from the Joe Wentz Project, which, if anyone is not subbed to his channel, please do so. He's a great guy, a great guitar player. I believe he lives in the North Carolinas, so if they're projecting the storm to be coming up that side, so he might see some bad storms, depending on how further inland he is. And there's two more storms that they're tracking right behind it. So around this time last year is when Hurricane Irma hit. And my wife and I had just relocated down here from Chicago, Illinois. And, well, actually it was Aurora, Naperville, Illinois, the suburb of Chicago. But I grew up in the city in Chicago, so I'm a Chicago. So, yeah, I grew up in Chicago, in the city, all my life. But Deb and I relocated down here July 28th, 2017, and we started gigging August the 5th, so everything's going nice and smooth, you know, we're hitting it hard and everything. Hey, how you doing, my friends? Jason Wade, we got George Shredden, how you doing, my friend? It's always good to see everyone. We got new subscribers, and I want to give a quick shout out to all our new subscribers, and thank you so much. I really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate your guys' support. This channel, we always desire to inspire, give it to you straight, tell you what's going on the gigging world. And when I gig, I do spotlight a lot of my YouTube friends, all you guys. I always ask for the permission so that I could do this. Preferably original music, because this way we don't have to deal with copyright infringements, people tearing down videos. And, you know, when I mention stuff like this, I don't say it in a bad way. It is their music. They can do what they want. They do have the right. They could actually come into a club and say to you, you can't do this, because we do not own those songs. And I know, as crazy as that sounds, that is the reality. That really is the reality. And if you want to avoid it, you know, the best thing to do is write your own music. Or what I done when we did the Garth Brooks song, I did say, you know, please support this artist and, you know, go out and buy their records. So I think that's what I'm going to do for these covers and see what happens. See where that goes, you know. Because a lot of the covers are fun to do. They really are, you know. These are songs that inspire us to play, or even if we've been playing for as long, you know, a long time, a new song comes out, you like it, you want to learn it, you want to play it. It's a lot of fun, and you know, touches other people's hearts. They have a good time, you know. But there is a legal a procedure, and if they do want to come after you, they could not only shut you down on YouTube, they could send a representative from BMI or ASCAP or these other organizations, and legally they could come in and say, pay us, and then you can play it. That is a fact. It's happened. It's happened where last place I played up in Illinois, the lady says, please play some originals, because I had to lie to this guy because he wants to charge me. A couple places down here I talked to, they're reluctant on hiring bands now because they do not want to pay those fees. So that's life, you know. It's not a bad thing. It's always a good thing, right? And it's always good to inspire people to play music, you know. So when we do spotlighting, we do ask people to have originals, and whether they want me to play along with the song, or they say, Dave, you know, just play a song, we don't want you to play. That's fine. I don't take anything personal. The whole point is with YouTube is to help each other out. You know, that's the whole point. So everything that I do here, a lot of these intros and that, it's stuff that I created right on the fly with my Digitech pedals. And that's not that I'm endorsed by Digitech. I'm not endorsed by anybody except my wife. You know, here's my sponsorship. And that's the only sponsorship I need, my friends. Support from my wife and all of you guys out there. That is the only sponsorship I need. You know? Give me one of these bad boys. I know people probably ask, you know, that's my Mexican-made Fender Strat. That's a Laguna guitar. I'll spotlight these two guitars, you know, in upcoming videos, you know. That's actually Guitar Center's brand. And the, I'm going to say early to mid-2000s. Yeah. And of course my wife, she has a Korean Squire Strat that actually went up in value, which is pretty cool, you know. David Enos, how are you? When I mispronounce people's names, I really apologize about that. Michael B, how are you? Yeah, I'm going to be going on live to, you know, probably till noon, maybe a little after. Our good friend up in Canada, Mr. Guitar Hack. I don't like calling him a hack. That's just the name he's using. He's a great guitar player. He's a great person. He's a great teacher. Great guy. He's going to be going live at 1 o'clock. So, yeah, you know, check out his channel. I'm going to be able to pop in, but we're going out with some friends down here. Thank God they relocated. They didn't have to deal with Hurricane Irma. We did. And so, yeah, I apologize for this late notice. As time goes on, we'll be able to, you know, once I get my dedicated laptop where I could do all this, I'll be able to send out the notices properly, you know, and be able to do the live hangouts and host. And I'll start with interviewing you guys. I'm going to start with interviewing Mr. Joe Wentz when his time allows it, you know. Joe Wentz, Jim Geetrid, great guy. R2R3 Locking Nut, Ben Coombs, all you guys, Mr. Michael B. Because everyone's got something unique. And it's cool to see R2R3 Locking Nut put some videos up. And to show his versatility, you know. The guy could shred, and the guy could play some bluesy licks and bluesy rhythms, you know. The whole point is to inspire each other. That is the whole point. When I look at people's channels, Mr. EJ's Guitars out in Texas, I think he's got something really cool that I really basically this is how I wanted my channel to be, but in different way with the gigs and spotlighting you guys and everything. But I also like what EJ does with helping people to subscribe to other channels, to help people's channels grow. I really think that is cool. Again, because it shows the support and to build people's channels up, and you'd be surprised the talent that's out there. This is the whole, this is really cool. So what I was gonna say is that, yeah, that's why down here it's a little bit slow season. I guess I should expect the month of September down here in Southwest Florida and this whole area, really. It's hurricane season, so a lot of places they're reluctant to have any type of activities. I mean, they'll have it, but if they gotta cancel it, it's gotta be, due to precaution, safety precaution. But when we got down here, and this is kind of a suggestion, if anyone's going to relocate to an area where you could have a high possibility of natural disasters, where you have to evacuate, you want to be careful of when it comes to gear, how much. And I don't want to tell people what to do, but the reality is, when you got to evacuate, one resource you are going to need is going to be water. Like down here, it's going to be bottled water because the fresh water isn't really down there, So, and we all know, and you might have to buy a couple of cases of bottled water because, the supplies might not be able to make it down here for a week, maybe 2 weeks, Because in the area we live in, there's a lot of bridges because we're surrounded by canals and water. So when hurricane comes, it could wash things out, making it impossible for supplies to come down. So when you have the necessities that you need and you got to evacuate, you're putting a lot of weight in your vehicle. This is when you got to kind of think this out, as far as heavy guitars, heavy pedal boards like this thing, this monster I have down on the floor here, heavy amplifiers, because you're still gonna need clothes, food, definitely water. So when we left after Hurricane Irma hit, there was only 3 guitars. We took the Gibson Les Paul, the Breedlove acoustic, and our Cordoba, and 2 amplifiers, the Roland BA330 battery powered amp, and the Bose L1 compact. We did take our pedal board, which consisted of the Digitech Jamman stereo, the Digitech RP360 XP. I was able to sneak in one of the cases my ME70, because see, this stuff runs on batteries, and my Boss RC20 XL. I do have this RC20, the very first one that came out, but I only took the XL. My Tascam recorder, because I can slap batteries in there. We did take some lights, and basically, and the guitar synthesizer. We did take that, and our new Tascam recorder. We got the, I think it's the BR, or the DR32 SD, 32 track. And the reason why we took that stuff is that that's the stuff that we could instantly make money. The Boss L1 Compact, I know it has some volume to it, but it's nowhere near like some other stuff that's out there. But we were doing also a lot of corporate gigs, and if you walk in with pointy guitars, if I walk in with this, some people would think it's cool, and it is cool, and it does have a real nice clean sound because they're not dirty pickups. It's a great guitar. But when you got to rely on it for money, and I don't mean by selling it, and you do a corporate gig where it's a little bit more high-end, it's more conservative, if I walk in with my Les Paul that's more conservative looking, a little bit dressy, then I get the gig. I walk in with this, then it's like, this guy's too much heavy metal, I don't know about hiring him. That's the reality. So, now with the Roland battery-powered stuff, when we have to do a wedding or we have to do a gig or somewhere where the power's out, we can still do the gig because you could use AA batteries with that. The Boss ME70, I could use AA batteries. The Tascam, AA batteries. My Zoom acoustic pedal, AA batteries. My Boss RC20, AA batteries. So the point is, I could be self-sufficient, power-wise. And I always recommend people to have some sort of a battery backup, unless you get a generator. We prefer not to get a gas generator because down here, if stuff starts blowing around, even if it's not, if it's a Category 2 hurricane that happens to come through here, but it's blowing stuff around and stuff's exploding, then that does more damage, just as much damage as a Category 4 or Category 5, depending on where it's going to hit. So that's part of the reason why the month of September is going to be a little bit low with the gigs. I know we'll have one on the 27th, which is a Thursday, at the Blue Monkey, but then October picks up. And where I play at the La Corte restaurant in Cape Coral, see what happens? You get talking, you get blabbing, you drop things. This place right here, it's in Cape Coral. This is one of the best restaurants, if not the best restaurant. I want to say it's the best restaurant I've been to. The food is fantastic there. The service is fantastic. You meet the owners, they greet you, and then they thank you. It's none of this ego trip. And boy, is it an elegant place. And I'll tell you what, if they wanted to blow their own horn, the place is elegant. But they choose not to. They choose to honor their guests, and they respect the wait staff. They respect everybody. And I'll tell you what, that's how you run a business. That is a business that's going to be successful and have longevity. But yeah, they're giving me now, starting October, every Wednesday and every Friday. So starting Tuesday, October 2nd, we're going to switch our Rockin' Ibanez to Tuesdays, because Wednesdays I'm going to be playing. And then there's this place out in Pine Island called Tarpon Lodge, which they've started throwing some dates at us, because now it's going to be the busy season. And so I've kind of titled this live chat Sunday Jazz Fusion Live, because that's another style of music that's really getting me a lot of the work. And of course, my duo, RUI with Mike, that is going strong, because now we're starting to get some more and more gigs through that. But even with that sector, there's a lot of versatility. So that's why yesterday we didn't do any live gigs. Plus, it given me a chance to say, okay, spend some time with the missus, and then we had some friends. We went at one of the flea markets. Believe it or not, a flea market. I did videotape. You're not gonna believe the size of this stage, man. Just like a concert arena at a flea market. You see, the opportunities really are everywhere. So we're gonna be contacting those people, and I got some ideas I want to toss around with the people at the flea market there, because they got this music hall, and see if we could start doing maybe some, like, I don't want to say like a local band music fest, something like that. Run these ideas. Because a lot of the festivals, if they'll have a main act, traveling band, or signed band, and no one, I don't ever want to call anybody has-been, because their hard work speaks for itself. So I never want to use that term. But people that are, how can I say this, that gives them a lot of respect, that doesn't make them look like they're down. They humble themselves, and they're thanking the people that they met on the way up. So I'm going to call those festivals, those type of people, the high class bands, not the has-beens, no, the high class, because they're thanking all of us who has supported them throughout the years, who's got them to the big arenas. Now they decide, hey, we're going to give back, and we're going to play these smaller places that a lot of these people, for whatever reason, didn't have a chance to see us, so we're going to honor them. So that's how I'm going to approach that. But when's the last time you went to a festival where it's really just local musicians? And local musicians that do have original music, that never get a chance to spotlight their own songs. So that's what I want to kind of run that idea across with some of these people down here. And it could be any style of music, really. That's why a good friend out there, Michael Bean, has Yellow Ocean's original songs. Hey, absolutely. I think I was on your channel, and yeah, you have some great stuff, man. I apologize. Oh, Mr. Jimmy T, how you doing, my friend? I apologize now. See, I'm catching it with the chat. You know what I mean? Is that guitar Ibanez RGA series? It is. Exactly as Dragon Burst. That's exactly it. Jason Wade, this is exactly what it is. The RGA Dragon Burst. It's a real comfortable guitar, man. And surprisingly, it's got 9s on there. I did put a 10 on here, but I might go back with the 9. I think because of the long scale. And, you know, I've been playing since 1974. And just recently, like within a month or two, I mean that recent, there's a couple of YouTubers out there who got talking about long scale guitars, and it's like the light went on. That's why it didn't feel like 9s. It felt like a tight tension. Because of my picking hand. I use a 1mm pick. Doesn't have to be a Dunlop. I use the one that I used to hate these picks. I mean, these things I hated, man. But because I also play classical guitar, it protects my fingernails because it's not a tiny little itty bitty pick. And I used to use those Fender Jazz picks and the Dunlop Jazz 3 faithfully. But I was wearing my index fingers. I don't know if you can see that. So here's the good thing. Right there, where my nail is, that's when I'm playing classical guitar. That's what actually plucks the string. So I'm kind of safe there, you know. Okay, I'm trying to catch up on the chat here. So yeah, but I think Michael B. Michael B. was asking about, you know, if he wanted to send a song to play, and it doesn't have to be a particular style, because that's the beauty about having the versatility. It's not just shred; it's kind of honoring all these styles, you know. And I'll tell you what, you got some good stuff, Mr. Michael B. I was, man, really digging that. I think it was something you put up yesterday. A lot of it reminded me of some of the early Fates Warning stuff. Man, love all that stuff. So this, basically what I did here, it does have more of a groove. And jazz fusion music is a style of music that I really heavily got into when I was in high school. I want to say 1980. I started getting my first Jeff Beck album, Wired. Then I had the other album, Blow by Blow. Then I had some of his other albums, the Jeff Beck Group. And because in the area in Chicago where I grew up in, you had a lot of the blues and the jazz clubs, you know. And then out in the suburbs, you had the metal circuit. So it was, everything was influenced me. All these sounds were coming at me, boom, all at once, you could basically say. So I started getting into jazz fusion because I had the electric guitar, you know. And then the summer of 1981 is when I heard Al Di Meola off of his Elegant Gypsy album, and then Return to Forever, the Romantic Warrior album. I heard side by side. I heard those, and man, I was blown away, man. Like, holy crap, you know. But I mean, I still liked Eddie Van Halen, and you know, Robin Trower is a huge influence. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Jimi Hendrix, of course. It's Carlos Santana, and you know, they love his stuff. Sometimes you can say so much with just one note, you know what I mean? Everything works together, you know? It's like building a house. If the front part of the house with the landscaping is just, maybe you got like a castle type, because there's a builder that does build these houses. The castle type up front, you have a drawbridge going over, you know, a little pond, big gates. When you walk in, you got the cobblestone, you know, driveway and the floor inside the cobblestone and the foyer. But when you pass that, if it's crap, then it's crap. You know? So, but basically, what I did is take the drum machine inside the Digitech, and I'm going to actually just lay down the bass, and then I lay down the guitar. It's guitar and bass unison, it's simply just, and I hope you guys can hear this, because I'm not going direct, I just have the microphone close to the speaker. So, ta-da. behind in my chest. Oh my God. Holy. Right, Stuart. It's good seeing you, man. Yes. Dragon Modal. Good seeing you, man. Thank you for tuning in. I know I'm behind in my chat here. Jazz Stubby Pick, yeah. Michael B, you're very welcome. Yeah, that was prog from the 90s. Yeah, that was some great stuff. Nothing really complicated. It's just how you use things, you know? So again, I'm getting, yeah. Nice. Yeah, Michael B. Bass 6 looks like. So yeah, let's see. Dave's been playing since I was 10. Wow, I've been playing since last October. You know what? Here's the thing. It really doesn't matter because life itself can get in the way. You know, it really won't matter. I was just very blessed, very fortunate that I was able to take the time and just hit it. You know, really, when I hit it hard was the summer of 1981. I started in 74, so I've already been playing, what, 6 years, you know? And I met my friend Andy Rios at Chicago Music Company, and then we'd go by his house, and his friend, and when I met his friend, Angel Valafine, I believe that's how I pronounce his name. Great guys, man. Man, it was, to me, it was like going to GIT. We just stayed at each other's house and practiced all day, man. I mean, you know, and that's how I found out about Al Di Meola and Alan Holdsworth, and you know, I was already starting to get into all this stuff. I already had a George Benson album, the Breezing album. And it was always that. I was always the oddball of some of my friends in the metal bands because I still loved metal. And, you know, let's see, Judas Priest Live in the East, Unleashed in the East came out. I had the Black Sabbath albums, Black Sabbath Volume 4, and then Paranoid, Zeppelin 4. The first two albums I had when I was a kid was 2 live albums, and I can't remember which one was first. Deep Purple's Made in Japan live, and Aerosmith live bootleg, you know. And that's why I kind of favored the live stuff, because of the energy from the crowd. It's like, man, everyone's having a great time, you know. And, you know, Rush's 2112 and all that. So, I mean, that's what we had back then. But when I got into the fusion, I'd go by Andy's house. We'd practice all day. And that's how I started developing my picking technique. I loved what Eddie Van Halen was doing with Eruption. I will never say anything bad about that guy, because he just blew the doors down. But there's a lot of, you know, pull-offs and ham runs. But that's, and the tap, and that's what's required. So that technique is top-notch. But when I heard Di Meola do these scale runs, you know, I was mesmerized, and then to hear him do it on an acoustic guitar, it was like mind-blowing, you know. And I started getting in different interests, and then, you know, with music styles. So that's what kind of helped me to get the diversity. And the more diversity you have, the more work you will definitely get. There's no question about that. But I was never a purist in one thing. And what I mean by that, a purist that would look down on other styles. And I've been around some of these people, but boy, they would put down everybody else, and I would think, you know, everyone's got something special to say, man. Everyone definitely has something special to say. So we will be launching our DB Guitar Jams, which will be an online guitar course. Yes. See, always see, this is what's really great about this. I always suggest everyone, when you see them, sub to each other. Let's see, we got Lana Bennett. How are you? Your singer wants to hear Still of the Night from Whitesnake. Oh. Lana, what's happening? Sometimes it takes me a little while to, get the wheels going in the old head there, I used to know that. I used to know that. I gotta work on that intro again. But, you got the intro of the part we... Played that song in its entirety since 1987, 88, 1988. Yeah, because one of the bands we were in, we were putting all these songs together, and I had the whole song packed down. This is what happens. You put the band together, you're putting all the music together, then all of a sudden someone doesn't want to play this, or I don't want to play that, and you start feeling like you wasted your time. Because in the process, if you are a creative person, and I know a lot of you are creative people out there, because you're out there. You are out there, okay? So you're a creative person, and then you start taking a chord progression, your mind starts going like this, and you can see all these options. But then you shelve what you want to do, your creative process, and you work on the cover, and sometimes I don't like these songs, I do. But then what happens, then I don't want to play this, and I don't want to play that, and then the band goes down the toilet. This is why I do what I do. No downtime. And especially when we were doing very heavily our road shows, and our road shows went up to last year. That's how, we're heavy. We're doing a lot more gigging down here, and it does feel nice to be able to gig in just a nice, dedicated area, because it gets very tiring out there. But it doesn't mean, in the future we won't go out and do some more if my wife wants. If she says, "No, Dave, let's just stay down here," then guess what? Because, we're a team. We stay down here. But, when you have all these shows booked, that is not the time to play, "Oh, I can't make this. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I feel like I don't want to do." You gotta be upfront, because you see, part of making it is when this becomes a business, and you gotta kind of, some of you from Chicago remember Ray Rayner. He'd have a Cubs hat on. He'd turn around, and then it would say Sox. You got to know how to flip your hats of responsibility, and to start disciplining yourself to looking at it what it really is, so that you get the job done. Because otherwise, you'll go out there one time and that's it, and then things will just naturally fall apart. That's just how that is. So what I want to do real quick here is I'm going to clear that patch on my Jam Man, and I'm going to show you what I do when I'm creating these songs. Now, because I call this more jazz fusion, we keep on more of a jazz fusion theme. And okay, so well, I'll tell you what. Maybe I could show that after I talk about something real quick. And it's I'm going to play something, and I know I'm probably missing a lot of people's comments, and I apologize about that. And get her here. I'm self-taught too. Yeah, self-taught. I've been looking at lessons. Okay. Yeah. You know, my suggestion: learn from as many people as you can. That's always my. Even when I teach, learn from as many people as you can. What I'm gonna do before I show you about how I loop things is I'm gonna also use this as a loop. So let's see. Old Man Dan. If Old Man Dan is watching, I love what you got there. And he put up this video. I think it was yesterday. Guitar work in progress. Okay, and it's kind of based off. I might call it an A minor with an open B and open E to a G, basically with an open G. Now I'm adding the D, and I'm gonna leave the high E open, so you get these nice ringing. Maybe I'm gonna find another patch here with the chorus. Okay. So that's your A minor, basically with an open B and an open E string. A G with an open E but a fretted D. A D chord would be kind of like a D9, and I'll explain what we got here. We have your D. This note right here is your F sharp, open G, E, fretted E on the 5th fret on the B string, and an open E. And then when you slide that down, it becomes like a C9, but you have a C, E, open G, D, and open E. So basically this chord progression is like this. So this is what I'm going to do because I have the I'm going to use a little bit of an overdrive because I'm going to go into the drum pattern here and let's see what we got. We're going to speed that up. That's 77 beats per minute. Keep it at 100 beats per minute. Let's see what we got there. Now remember, this is Old Man Dan's song. And you said, yeah, just see what you guys could do with it. So I'm going to let the crash cymbal, cycle through. Bring down my volume. So I just loop the drums and the guitar. Now, I'm going to stop this and I'm going to show you another thing I'm going to do. Here's another way of approaching this. We're going to hit the drums again, but I'm going to clear my overdrive. Okay? Because since I'm not going to go into the meaty part of it, the power chords into it, just to give you an idea what you could do with all this. See? Okay. Now you can hear a little bit more cleaner, right? So, I'm going to add a bass to this, bass line. by the engineers, they'll still be kind of clear, but still could be a little bit buried in the mix. This is why I like using this stuff so much. Right on the fly, I can take this and create a whole song. One of the most... Let me stop that. I'm not going to clear it, I'll just stop it. One of the easiest ways, it's very basic, but when I do stuff with the bass, it's literally... Let's see. A lot of times I'll play the root, the fifth, and it's octave. So it's kind of like your bar chord. You can see it right within the bar chord. Sometimes if I was not going to come out of the descending C, B, and A, if I was going to write on my C, I could kind of slide up to what would be like a blues pattern, blues box pattern. To me, what it does, it gives momentum within the song that's moving. It's stuff that early Beatles, you'd hear Paul McCartney doing, and of course, and any type of Latin jazz, when I listen to Santana's music, the bass is always moving. So it gave the momentum that the song, it's traveling, it's moving. So that's why I like doing that. And you can still do that with slower songs, but you don't want to do it too much, because then it sounds like it's stepping on each other, right? So now we got our chords, we got our rhythm, our bass, and our drum. Now, I'm going to just add melodies to it. And I'm going to keep it a nice overdrive. I can do volume swells. And that's our good friend, Old Man Dan. That's a chord progression that he came up with.
Nice.
And you just add things to it, And of course, there's a lot more that you guys could do out there, Again, nothing has to be so complicated. It just has to sound good. Because here's a reality, my friends, and I know you're all aware of this. When you go out to play, ask everybody in your audience if they got a music degree, Again, and this is not to put anybody down or make light of anything. It really isn't. But when I see people get pull hair out of their heads, take second mortgages out of their house, maybe they need dental work but they neglect that, or there's an illness and then they neglect that because they're riding on advice that tells them you have to do this, that, and the other. When they do this to such a point where they're going to get ready to fall off the face of the earth financially, and the next time you see them is going to be in the middle of the mediums on the street, with a cup, homeless, I'll work for food. And I'm not trying to put anybody down and make fun of a situation, because I never want to see people in that situation. But I've seen people get taken advantage to such a degree that they will allow themselves, because the person that's telling them all this stuff, they tend to believe us. Now, this is not to knock constructive criticism, guys, because you have good constructive criticism out there, And that does help us pull ourselves up. It really does. I listen to when people say, well, maybe you should try this and maybe you should try that. And I'll try it. But if it's something that I know it's not working for me, and maybe I'm not going to get a gazillion hits on YouTube, but when I go out to play, I could still make money and pay my bills, and people are going to like it, and I'm comfortable with it, then that's okay, because I know I plan to live a long life. So I plan to, keep writing and, keep moving forward. Because I'm telling you, no matter what you do, you're not going to please everybody all the time. So whenever a person thinks that their stuff is not good enough, record your stuff, maybe shelve it, and then listen to it a little bit later. Like a week later, a month later, a year, whatever. And then keep monitoring that over the course of years. And you watch and see how times your opinion might change on it, I always tell people this: if you're happy with it, because see, you're the one that's performing it. You got to be the one out there to convince people that it's it. It's like selling a used car, and I don't mean to use this as an analogy, a comparison, but it's like selling a used car. You want to make sure that used car is good, and you need to sell it. So you're not gonna go out there and say, well, it's not really that good. Is it? Then who the hell is gonna buy it? You have to go out there with that salesperson's pitch that you need this. This is the greatest that's out there. It'll change your world. And then when people say, okay, give it to me straight, what's really going on? Then you can say, okay, well, it's got this, it's got that, because I want to be honest. I don't want to mislead you. But if you go out there with a frown and that, I think it's a good sign, I think maybe, I don't know, maybe, you're not going to convince anybody. The only people that you'll be convincing are the people that are charging these ridiculous amounts of fees. And I'm not saying their time's not important. Their time is very, very valuable. So this is not a pot shot at anybody. Okay, don't take this the wrong way. But you guys got some really good stuff out there, man. Really good stuff out there that's inspiring. And that's the name of the game. Can you inspire people that, they have a hard week at work, they want to be moved, they listen to it, hey, this sounds great. It just took me out of my moment of misery and took me to a different place. That's when you know you got something. When you have total strangers come up to you and say, wow, that sounds great. How come you're not on a big stage? How come you're not this? How come you're not that? Then you got something, because it's honesty. It really is people being honest. So you don't have to feel like you got to pull your hair out of your head. And again, this is not to say that don't take, how can I say, understand constructive criticism, because it really is meant to help. Everyone's out to help everybody else. I want to believe that they really are, But I wanted to do that real quick, because when I saw that, I thought, wow, this is really cool. But again, see, how I view my chord progressions and my notes on the fretboard, I can look at my fretboard, and I do not see formulas. I do not look at it as Phrygian, pentatonic. Well, it's pentatonic, a little simple, but I really look at it as the names of the notes on the fretboard. That's exactly how I look at it, and I'm not. That's just something, being self-taught and looking at some of these books, these theory books, that actually confused me. And okay, so I have a long way to go maybe with that. But I could tell you what, I could grab any person who doesn't understand any of this, help them out when once the light bulb goes on, when you see all the names and the notes on your fretboard, I guarantee this. You could get together with a saxophone player, a trumpet player, a keyboard player, a kazoo player. Was it Bobby Brady from the Brady Bunch? Playing his kazoo. Anybody, and understand that standard tuning on the guitar, your middle C on the music staff, not on the piano, middle C on the music staff, is going to be, well, let me turn this up without, it's going to be this note. 3rd fret on your A string, and 8th fret on your low E string. And if you got a 7th string or 8th string, it's going to be that note. It will be that note. Now, unless somebody changed something and says, guess what, Dave? We found the secret formula and we were all wrong. Well, then that's different. Then we got to relearn everything, right? Once you understand that, and I've actually use this, because this was my only thing I was able to understand, because I had to work on music to go out and perform, because in the audience sitting in people sitting in the audience could care less what you say, they're gonna judge you by what you could do. And if you're clinking and clunking all the time, but yet you're saying that you got a college degree, you get some people, they're gonna tell you flat out, man, like you play in front of a bunch of construction workers that are bikers that will tell it to you like it is, man. They'll say, you know what, you wasted your money. You should have learned how to fix motorcycles or be a plumber or something. Now you can make some money. But anyways, so I would tell these people, what are the notes you're playing? Low pitch to high pitch, above and or below middle C on the staff. And a lot of times I've had people kind of like stop and think, because they're not used to someone approaching it that way. They're used to the formula way, flatted thirds, dominant sevenths, and that. So they're not used to my terminology, because it's just a longer way of saying things. But I'll tell you what, it's a very precise way. You will never be lost. Never be lost. And a person could come up with all kind of ways, and I've had this happen, guys and girls out there, and this is not the good people. This is the people that want to, show that they know more than everybody else, unfortunately. And they would try to put me in a little trick bag and try to stump me, and they get me on these formulas, but I'd say, but what are your notes? They look up at the ceiling, well, your notes aren't on the ceiling. They're either here or on the piano or on your instrument. So, and then I had one guy tell me, yeah, this is a great idea, Dave. Now we get the job done. Now we can rehearse for the show. See, when you're a performer, it's a different world. It really is a different world, because especially when you're using rehearsal spaces and you're doing like hourly rooms. Mitch Heyman, Robert Baker has a riff lesson with Hurricanes. Oh, with Hurricane in it. Let's see. Well, I'll tell you what. I think Robert Baker is up in Ohio. Like our good friend, Ed Dana. Ed Dana, he puts his stuff up on YouTube. Hey, this is us playing live. This is where we're at. I like stuff like that, because it shows everybody, hey, these are the areas that you might be playing in. And these are the people you might be playing for. And this is what you might expect. It might be an empty room. Or it might be a loud, noisy room with people talking. See, you need to understand this. If you're going to go out and perform, remember, you have to create your atmosphere. I've had my singer ask me, where do you get your energy from? I had people on YouTube ask me, where do you get your energy from? I just really love what I'm doing. Now, this is just me, guys, so I'm not going to put this on anybody. To me, it's a gift from Almighty God. He's given it to me. Yes, I worked for it, because I'm an able-bodied person. Maybe you put it on the tables. Dave, this is for you, but, kind of put some pep in your step. I'm going to put it over there. You get up and get it. It's yours. But, put some effort into it. So, but anyways, what I was saying with, come on down here with the Hurricanes, my friend. Hopefully this season, we don't have any problems, because everyone, the locals would tell me, Dave, it's not that bad. It's only like once in every 10 years you get something like that. But for people who do relocate, if you relocate in the area that you only have a couple of roads to evacuate, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Grab the necessities. Make sure your vehicle can handle weight. And I know this sounds absolutely maybe like, what the hell is this guy talking about? You'll see what I mean when you got to evacuate and you got the 2 or 3 cases of bottled water, because everybody needs water to survive. You know what I mean? And if you're stuck where they cannot get supplies, then at least you could survive. But if you think the other way, well, I got to get, my Mesa Boogie triple rectifier, whatever it is, heavy cabinet, heavy guitar, heavy this, heavy that, and maybe 2 bottles of water. Watch what happens when you're stuck on the side of the road and you're trying to sell your stuff for a bottle of water. Hey, no way. That stuff becomes unimportant. You'll see how fast water becomes very valuable, my friends. That's why you got to be careful what you do, But that's if you're going to move to a high, an area where you're going to have, disaster. Sometimes I forget things, guys. I apologize, you know. Maybe it's age starting to catch up with me. I don't know. You're only as old as you want to be. Always remember that. So, but yeah. And I never take any of my videos down, so hopefully this could, you know, stay up there. And Old Man Dan, you could see other people would say, hey, that's pretty cool, and spark other ideas, you know. Because, I mean, it's not really, literally, the sky is the limit. So, like, when you're doing something like this. You got, like, this accent. Again, the sky is the limit. And to make matters very easy, you know, you got your A minor type of chord up here, so you'd have it down here, right? So you have your A minor. If you want to add a little overdrive, let's say you want to use that as a bridge part, depending on how long you want to make the song, right? Real simple. This is how I arpeggiate. I really don't do the sweeping. It's really not my cup of tea, you know. I'll do some of it. I guess what is, I don't like the fact that this is not really doing much of anything, if that makes sense, you know. So what I'll do is I'll play staccato. Okay, I hope this is not going to be a long video, guys. I don't want to bore people, but I want to just kind of give you an idea what you could do with this. So, I'm going to just take the clean chord progression. Let's see, well, it would help if I brought the volume up, right? See, this is what happens. While that is cycling, let's see what I can do with just a 12th fret position. Feel like they're just stuck with the box, you know what I mean? The pentatonic. And yes, everyone, I'm catching up with my chats here. Yeah, Guitar Hack is going live at 1 o'clock, so I'll make sure that I am done because we're going to be leaving about 12:30. So everyone, definitely check out Guitar Hack. Great guy. But what I want to show you, an option. Very, very simple option. If you ever get stuck in the box, whether you're playing it in 12th fret, you can move around. 12th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret, wherever. Always remember, here's an option you could do if you need to make things sound melodic. I'm going to take the 5th fret because everyone seems to learn it in the 5th fret. If there's any type of a minor chord or you could want to experiment, even if there's not a minor chord, just experiment. See what you can come up with. Start with this. So it would be pinky, third, and index. Your half step. Then on your B string, it would be pinky, middle, and first, So it'll be your whole step, half step. Then here, come down a half step. This is how you can start to break out of that without feeling like, oh God, I got to learn a bunch of Phrygian modes and Dorian modes. And I actually, and this is probably, even when I was teaching, I would do this. Because I'm not ashamed to show that there's something I don't know. Because I found out that was also inspiring my students. Because my students wouldn't get intimidated. And I don't want anybody to be intimidated. Trust me, I will not intimidate anybody, my friends. No way. I'm not better than anybody. I put my pants on one leg at a time just like everybody else, man. That's how that is. But what would also help is when they would see your options. As simple as that. I mean, you got your fingers right there, right? I mean, it's I look at things in common sense because then maybe I'm not so bright or whatever it is. I don't know. Nor do I care. Always experiment with your options. Never be afraid. So, when I take that box down here, I basically am arpeggiating a minor chord, but if I were to look at it as a scale, I'm also playing part of a pentatonic, but I'm not playing my low E string, and I'm not playing a full pentatonic scale, if that makes sense. Real simple. Real simple. And when you use your vibratos and your whole notes, you're actually, it's like talking. You're breathing life into it. That is what makes things sound musical. That is exactly what will help a person, feel like they're not stuck, Okay, so now I'm going to close off with a little jazz fusion thing here. And just to kind of show you all the options, I'm going to take the same rock beat that's in the RP 360, which is like rock beat number 2, the pattern. And the tempo is at 77 beats per minute. I want to make sure I got it. Okay. So, nope. What I'm going to do, sorry, see? Get all excited. Alright. I'm going to add the Univibe. Okay, so basically, this is what I have. Now I gotta call my drum pattern again. Maybe I'll use my neck pickup. When I play jazz-oriented music, I tend to favor the major and minor sevenths. And those type of chords as well. I used to know the name of them. I apologize. I'll get in depth with all of this, later. But basically, so this is what I have. What's so cool about having doing with bass lines. I'm trying to create like a melody with the bass line. And this is all based on stuff I grew up listening to. And the real secret how I developed all this was I would practice my scales and my picking, have my headphones on, and my whole body and mind was absorbing all this music over a long course of time. And I would just hear everything. Because when I was a kid, my dad would play orchestra music. So you hear a big sound, you hear all these instruments all the time. So now I'm going to improvise over this. It's not real difficult either. When you're just doing 100% true improvising. Because when you're doing this, you want to shoot for the emotion. Now, if a person has very strong theory background and use that, that's great. I'm not knocking any of this. So always experiment. Don't worry so much where you are in your playing as far as your knowledge, because that's going to grow with you. But in that journey of your growth, try to make things sound musical, because I'm telling you, that is what touches the people out there. Not so much the knowledge, and I'm not knocking it. It's the emotion, because we're all human. All right, my friends. I hope that was able to help people out there, and Even the, I fell off key a little bit there, but that's okay because I want people to see that I'm not a perfect person by any means. But the whole thing is when you're in those situations, try to sound musical, even when you shred. I mean, there are times when I listen to my playback, I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't have done that there because to me it doesn't. I don't feel it. You as a performer, always remember you have to feel it because it's going to be part of your expressions that you convey to people. That's going to convince them that hey, this is a great place to be. You know what I mean? That's why when I say you have to create your own environment, you could play at the place that is considered the most dumpiest place around. But if you have that type of a personality where you can walk in a place that maybe is not too elegant, but you could change the atmosphere around, people are going to catch on that. They really will. And then you got people out there that are just not into music. They're into listening to their favorite songs, but they're not into listening to music. Because when people are really into listening to music, they'll sit there and they'll say, hey, well, let's see what this guy or this girl's got, I kind of like this style of music. Let's check it out. I don't care if I know the song. I don't. When I watch bands play, there's a few things I never do. I don't go by if it's my favorite song or do I know this song. No. How many people they're drawing? Nope. It's really if they're good. And even within that, they could be having a bad day. And this all comes, with time and experience. As you grow and live, as you grow as a musician and live as a person, you'll see. You start noticing that, hey, well, maybe so-and-so ran out of gas. Maybe the babysitter can, all these things come into play to try to distract a person. So when they got to hit the stage, they still have to convey that moment in time. Because always remember, my friends, in the bars and the clubs, the biggest concern is my glass is half empty. Bartender, I need another one. For the people who don't pay attention, that's their concern. But you make your environment, and trust me, when people pick up on you, you're gonna get an audience. Of course you are. That's why I don't take things personal. Some people have a good day, some people have a bad day, some people just don't like what I'm doing. That's all fine. Because I know it's going to touch somebody. Just remember, even if it is the bartender, you're the band and you're playing and only the bartender is there. But if that bartender had a bad day and whatever it is you do within your set was able to change his perspective where he leaves that night feeling a little bit better, then you did your job. And that's what's always important. That's why desire to inspire, my friends. So anyways, my friends, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Sorry about the last moment notice. Things are going to get a lot better once I get, technology under my belt, We will be going live for Rockin' Wednesday. Rockin' Ivan is Wednesday. October 2nd will be a Tuesday. That's when we're going to switch. But for the remaining part of September, we'll be doing that. We will be going live on Saturday. And we're going to see if we do another performance down here in the Arlenai, depending on how bad the hurricanes are coming. If we got to say, you might see us running like hell. Who knows, man? But anyways, so at 1 o'clock, we got Guitar Hack. He's going to be doing his live chat. So if you guys want to go check him out, by all means do that. Subscribe to everybody out there. You guys are what makes all this worthwhile, And I appreciate you right from the bottom of my heart, my friends. I really do. So, until next time, you guys always a desire to inspire, hold the doors of opportunity, help those people out because when you do good things, they do come your way, my friends. And always remember, keep things real. Till next video, you rock on, my friends. You are absolutely the best. Take care, rock on, and God bless. We'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.